Welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. And this is episode 31, the Sports Fanatic Forum. So let's make sure y'all leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we get straight into it with Zip's update. Akron's baseball team improved to 20 and 24 in the season over the last week. I don't know well, I'm pretty much just talking about their last three games as they're on a three-game winning streak right now. Kind of talked about their season and whole the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, they improved to 20 and 24 after this three-game winning streak. They went on all three wins versus Ohio this week. That ties their longest winning streak of the season. As I mentioned last week, they've been struggling all year. So to go from 17 to 24 to 20 and 24, winning three straight, like I said, defeating Ohio. They all scored on 39-21 in those three games, so they finished with 18 more runs than them. So a really good week, one of probably their best week of the season, or second best, depending on which winning streak was more impressive. Because I don't think I paid attention to the first winning streak, but yeah. Um, they had 17 Ks in that series, so they struck them out 17 times. So that was great. They also had 45 hits in those three games, which that's 15 hits per game, which is impressive. And obviously, it's not how it played out in reality, but close enough to it because they did have a lot of hits. It was two games that had 17 hits, then there was another one that had 11, if I'm not mistaken. That's how you get to the 45. Then once you average that out, 15 hits per game, 45 hits in three games. So super impressive stuff. They had five home runs in the first game too. In the first game of that series, they had five home runs. Don't remember how many they had in those following games, but it didn't matter because it was enough to win. Like I said, and improve to 20 and 24 on the season. So things are looking up for the Akron's baseball team. I forget who their next series is against. I gotta look that up, but because I'm pretty sure they were on the road for this series too. So um, uh, yeah, they're on the road. They got a random game against Dayton today at 3. Then they play Kent State for 3 games. So um, yeah, the that's whatever. Um, but anyways, baseball team looking better. Let's see if they can carry that momentum going into today's game against Dayton. I kind of wish they were at home so I could work. Don't really have nothing to do, but it's whatever. But moving on to the softball team. The softball team has been consistent for most of the year. They had a super long winning streak to turn their season around, but the softball team is currently 29 and 22. They also had a series versus Ohio, which they went 2-1 in, and so they improved. Then they still won the series, didn't sweep them, but they did win four straight games. At one point, two of those wins were part of this series, and then Ohio they won that last game in the series, but Akron still ended up winning the series. Like I said, 2-1. Got outscored, and the one loss they had, they got outscored 10-0. They lost that game 10-0, which is kind of crazy because that was their only loss in that series, and their only loss in their last 5 games. And it was just them giving up 10 runs, not being able to score at all. So they did win third in the two wins that they had against Ohio. Though they outscored them 13-7 in those two wins. They struck out Ohio 9 total times throughout this series. And like I said, Ohio, they were the ones to snap Akron's 4 game winning streak that they were on going into that final game. Um, and then the first two games was just super dominant by them having 13 runs. For Akron having 13 runs in the first two games, but they didn't have any in that final game. Like I said, they lost 10-0. So the final game was such an anomaly of what this season's been. Like I said, they had a long winning streak. I forget what it wasn't that long ago, but they had a significant winning streak to really turn their season around. And I can actually check that because it was about they had won like 7 or 8 straight games. Um, because they started the season kind of rough, but they didn't pick it up towards the end. I'm pretty sure I'm still on baseball. Okay. But yeah, the softball team 29 and 22 on the season. Like I said, just overall they played great in the series versus Ohio. It was just that final game that was kind of anomaly that made it look bad. but they still won the series. So I'm going to check that winning streak they had because I'm pretty sure it was 7 or 8 games. It was like a 7 or 8 game stretch that they were just amazing. Um, what I was looking for. But yeah, they did start the season kind of rough, and then it was they had like one. They had a 6 game winning streak from March 7th to March 21st. Um, then it was an 8 game winning streak, I think, that started versus Toledo. Had three versus Toledo, three versus Kent State, and three. No, it's 9 game winning streak versus Toledo, Kent State, and Buffalo. That was the other winning streak they had went on from from April 3rd to April 12th because Robert Morris ended up ending that winning streak. But since that Robert Morris game was such an anomaly, that was a bad game too. But they've been able to bounce back since that. Then they had really bad loss to Ohio, but they had beat Ohio State and UMass. They won the series against UMass going into this, so like I said, they're 29-22, and they've been having a solid season. Wouldn't say great because it's still 29-22, 7 games over 500, but especially with the start that they had, but they did a great job bouncing back based off of that start. So it's been a good season for softball, and now for lacrosse, it's been a really great season. They're going to the MAC tournament. As I mentioned last week, that already clinched it with a win, but they had one more regular season game, which was against Central Michigan a few days ago. Ended up winning that game 16-3 and improved to 11-4 in the season. They took care of business in that a pretty easy game for them. First, very dominant first quarter, scoring 7 goals in that first quarter. Excuse me. Scoring 7 goals in that first quarter, putting the pressure on and not letting their foot off the gas pedal. So they were absolutely fantastic. And that got out to a hot start, and that continued throughout the game. And so for Central Michigan, they had Julia Winter. If I'm saying that, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but she scored two of Central Michigan's 3 goals. So they only scored 3 goals in this game, and they had one girl score 2 of them. So pretty much knew the game was over. And then Sienna Hinchcliffe, who's been amazing for Akron's lacrosse team, had another great game. She had 7 goals in this game. So even if you take away the goals that they had in the first, if you take away all her goals, Akron still wins 9-3. They still win this by a significant margin. So Sienna Hinchcliffe was amazing with seven goals. Then you have 5 other women on Akron's team score goals as well, just keeping the pressure on. So yeah, just a dominant game throughout. Like Akron's women's lacrosse team has been really good this year. They're 11-4. They're in the MAC tournament now, and they had already clinched it with a win that they had last week. So yeah, that then I think the MAC tournament starts on Wednesday. They're playing. Wait, is that is yeah, because they take on Eastern Michigan. Then if they win that game, they should be able to win that game. But actually, I don't know what Eastern Michigan's record is. But, but yeah, but since it's the MAC tournament, that's gonna be a tougher game. But they do play Eastern Michigan, and if they win that, they'll advance in the tournament. So that game takes place on not Wednesday, on Thursday. It's That's what it's showing on here. It's showing me Thursday because today is Tuesday. So if they win that game, they should advance to the next one. So we'll be back covering that next week. Whether they win or lose, still can get covered regardless. But a great season, finishing 11-4, ending the season on a 3 game winning streak. Had a bad loss to UMass. Then finished the season scoring 16 points in all 3 of their games. 16-6 win over Robert Morris, 16-7 win over Youngstown State, and 16-3 win over Central Michigan. So a dominant finish to the season. Uh, like I said, end on a 3 game winning streak. Clinched the MAC tournament on the 18th after they beat Youngstown State. So we'll see how far they can advance in the tournament and if they can get even further. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for Zips update. Lacrosse doing amazing. Softball has been solid, and baseball been struggling, but the recent winning streak has been nice for them. Hopefully, they can keep it up. We'll see. Now, Ohio isn't great either. Ohio has like 8 wins on the season, so we'll see how much weight this winning streak holds. especially with the game they got later today. All right, now we can move to bowling spotlight. The PBA Tournament of Champions took place. I didn't see this live. I had to go back and watch it. It took me because I was at the NFL draft, so I missed some of this. Well, I actually missed all of it, so I had to go back and watch the replay to see what happened within the PBA Tournament of Champions. They posted a full thing on the CW YouTube channel, so I was able to watch it in 2 days. So on Sunday, I was able to watch the. I watched most of it on Monday. Then, yeah, watched most of it on Sunday. I was able to watch some of it Sunday night. Then the rest on Monday, the full thing on the CW's YouTube channel. Like I said, since I didn't catch it live, first matchup had Jason Belmonte taking on Brandon Bonta, and this was the 4-5 matchup, which was kind of surprising because I was thinking Jason Belmonte would be a bit higher, but he wasn't. But even with that though, Bonta he struggled to find the pocket on the left lane. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the left lane where he struggled throughout the game. And while Belmonte was solid, he wasn't great, but Jason Belmonte was still able to get the win due to how much Brandon Bonta was struggling to find that pocket on that left lane in that matchup. So, forgot the final score too, but Jason Belmonte ended up winning that and was able to advance to the second match where he had to take on Andrew Anderson. So he had Andrew Anderson versus Jason Belmonte excuse me, in the second match. Belmonte, he had three splits within the first four frames, so already off to a bad start. Him struggling early, never was able to recover from that. It was, I think he left two in the first. It was a 2-8 in the first one, either the first or second frame. It was a 2-10-7 that he left, and then the other one was a 2-pin split, if I'm not mistaken. But he struggled early. Belmonte was able to capitalize off of that. Due to his early struggles, Jason Belmonte started trying different stuff. Um, no, not Belmonte. No, Andrew Anderson. I typed that wrong. Due to Belmonte struggling, like I said, that when he got behind early, getting those three splits within those first four frames, Andrew Anderson, he was able to. He had a good start to that game, but he was later in the game, like frame 7, 8. He was able to test out different stuff and just see what was gonna happen. He could just fuck around and see because he was so far ahead of Belmonte that was like he can take a risk and not worry about losing. So he just started doing stuff really. So he was testing out different angles, testing out different strategies late, and he still ended up winning 236 to 163. If he would have took like he was obviously taking it serious, but once he realized he was ahead and that it was no chance he was losing, it was like he could just test out different stuff and do whatever, and he did that, and he still ended up winning 236 to 163 to advance to the next match. Then you had Alex Horton taking on Andrew Anderson um, in the third matchup. Alex Horton, he's in his rookie season as well in the PBA, and the PBA's been shining with many rookies making their appearances on TV, getting through these tournaments, getting to the step ladder, and he was another one that got to the step ladder. He was placed at the ended up finishing being the second seed going to this tournament. And so you had Alex Horton taking on Andrew Anderson. Um, and Alex Horton played great on the right lane. That was where he was the best at. And he also played more straight, like a lot of guys you see curving, straight down the middle from him. Like he's just playing straight, and it worked out for him well. He only had three single pin spares in this, which was really good. As Andrew Anderson, he had a couple, wasn't nothing crazy because it was a close game. This was the closest game out of the four that were played this weekend, and so he had so with that kept it close, allowed him to stay in it and allowed him to stay ahead. Well, not even stay ahead because Andrew Anderson got ahead at one point. Then they both had strikes in the ninth frame, so then it came down to who was going to make that mistake because they were both around the same mark at this point. And then Andrew Anderson, he could have shut out Alex Horton with a strike. I think he needed a strike and 9 pins, but he wasn't able to get it. And Alex Horton, he had to capitalize off of that, and he was able to. So Alex Horton capitalized. He ended up getting the strikes that he needed to win and advance. But this was super close. Alex Horton ended up winning 223 to 212. This was great. Intense action. Not Andrew Anderson couldn't do what he did in the last game. Couldn't test out different strategies or angles because it was a close game where he knew he needed to win and he wasn't able to pull it through late. But it was like Alex Horton. He just played a really well game, being able to move more to the right, going with a straight up approach as he going down the middle. So that was great for him and helped him end up winning. And then, like I said, Andrew Anderson, he played well throughout. It was just a couple of spares that he couldn't afford to have. He was the one that made that final mistake, which is what it came down to in this game. Who was going to make that final mistake? And it was Andrew Anderson and Alex Horton advanced. So you got to give him credit for staying in it. Then you get to the championship match, Alex Horton versus Zach Wilkins. This was disappointing, not what you expected, especially from Zach. Alex Horton, he started this match 4 straight strikes. He was on fire. He was just locked in. And then Wilkins, he struggled in the right lane, the lane that Alex Horton was succeeded in. Zach Wilson, he struggled in that right lane throughout the entirety of this match. And then Horton, he almost messed himself up by having a spear in the eighth frame, which left the door open for Wilkins. But Zach Wilkins didn't get enough strikes, not even close to it, especially in those final 3 frames. That's where it really got bad. It was like Horton left the door open for him to win, and Horton, all he needed was a strike. He didn't even need a strike. He just needed a few pins to get the win, and he was able to do that. He ended up winning 224 to 176. Just like I said, Zach Wilkins didn't capitalize during that time. He wasn't able to get the job done when all the pressure was on him, all the momentum on his side, wasn't able to get it done. So Alex Horton ended up winning 224 to 176. And so that with Alex Horton winning, he becomes the fifth rookie this season to win one of the tournaments. It was him. He joined Brandon Bonta, Spencer Robarge, Austin Grammer, and somebody else. I'm forgetting who the fifth. Forgetting who the fifth guy is. No, he became the fourth. Not. I don't know why I wrote fifth. That's my mistake. Because I was like, yeah, it can't be somebody else. Because Ron Barnes was a rookie last year, and I don't know if he even won one this year. But no, Alex Horton became the fourth rookie winner of the season, joining Brandon Bonta, Spencer Robarge, and Austin Grammer as guys who have all won PBA tour titles in their rookie season this year. So, like I said, the rookies have been dominating the PBA. The 4 guys I just mentioned, and talking about Alex Horton and how he got to this point. Like if all 4 of them end up in a step ladder at some point, that'd be super dope to see. I don't know if that's ever happened, but up to 5, I don't know if it's any. It's probably a few other rookies, but if 5 rookies, including those 4 that I just mentioned, end up in a step ladder with each other, that'd be amazing to see who's truly the best rookie. Because Alex Horton, Brandon Bonta, Spencer Robarge, Austin Grammer, they all stepped up big. All were amazing when they needed it. Austin Grammer, he balled a 299 to win his championship in the last tournament. He was 1 pin away from a 300. That was a fantastic game. Like I remember all these. Like I've been covering all these throughout the season. So yeah, this is why I really never make videos or shorts about bowling. Sometimes I make shorts, but mainly when I cover bowling, it's on the podcast because it gives me more time. It gives me this full 10 minutes to talk about it and talk about what's going on. Sometimes I'll probably do more videos in the future. I did reactions to bowling before. I could bring it back, but it's just a very time consuming. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably drop more shorts about bowling in the future as I dropped some in the past before. But I mainly just saved it for the podcast to talk about the whole tournament in general. And I also could add stuff and talk about the lead up to the tournaments and how guys got to the seed and where they were at. It's something I think about. But with that being said, yeah, the PBA tournament of champions, it was great. I think the best matchup was definitely the third match though with Alex Horton and Andrew Anderson. That was a true testament of vet versus rookie and seeing the rookie step up and do his thing, get the win, advance. It's like Andrew Anderson. He played well, just wasn't good enough, didn't do enough. And Alex Horton, he stepped up, high pressure, uh, back to back matchups. Could have easily lost. I forget if Zach Wilson is Zach Wilkins. I don't know if I heard of him before, but like I said, congratulations to Alex Horton once again winning the PBA tournament of champions. And now for hot take of the week, I gotta pull this up because the all right, hot take of the week from my guy Evan. He said that's the wrong thing. He said he got a hot take about the WWE releases, which is there is no win because no matter who is on TV, some very deserving wrestler with a dedicated fan base is going to be upset their favorite isn't on TV. And that's a really good point by Evan because think about it. When you think about all the people who did get released, and I was out of town when the budget cuts happened, so I couldn't really dive deep into it. I really just made it short about Kyrie Sane because that one was kind of egregious to me. But at the end of the day, people do have to be released. Budget cuts have to happen because you can't pay everybody. Some people can't. You can't keep everybody. Like you're bringing up this talent such as Blake Monroe, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Joe Hendry, Sol Ruka, etc. Like you're calling people up, it's gonna be less spots for other people, and you can't keep everybody in catering. Then you also brought back the Street Profits, so maybe they're under a new deal or something. I don't know, but somebody has to get released at the end of the day. Like no matter what, it's like it might be your favorite, or because it's some of my favorites. I'm like, damn, I do wish that they stayed, but it's like at the end of the day, some people have to get released. Now, does it mean that every release is justified and that every release makes sense? No, that's not what that means at all. But yes, Evan does have a point. It's like no matter like somebody's favorite is gonna get released. Like somebody is a huge fan of Apollo Cruz. Like, even though I don't think Apollo Cruz was doing anything because he wasn't. He was just being employed, not doing anything for no reason. It's like it's some huge Apollo Crews fan out there that's probably crying right now. Probably not crying, but probably sad that they saw their favorite get released and they don't know where they're going to be watching him at if he even wrestles again. Maybe they'll see the end of his career. Who knows? And it's like you said, some wrestlers they do have super dedicated fan bases who will be upset, and I'll provide other examples of that because it's better examples. Um, you can look. I think the best example is probably Kyrie Sane because she got released and everybody hates it, like me included, because nobody understands it. Like that's a release where it's like we don't see the purpose as fans because you're building a story with her, Asuka, and Io, and it's like a triple threat, especially as referee, the number one contender for the IC title. Like it's multiple different routes you could go. She's in the middle of a storyline and you just drop her. Wow. It's like the Motor City Machine Guns. A lot of people call them one of the greatest tag teams. Well, not a lot, but people their respect is one of the greatest tag teams in TNA history for sure. So people that seeing them go from TNA to WWE, it's like they're pissed because they can do so much more in the tag team division. It's like they're not using them. So like it makes sense that they got released because they're not using them at all. But it's like you need tag teams. You just sent the Street Profits to SmackDown, not to SmackDown to Raw. Who do you have on SmackDown? That's what I'm still trying to figure out. Who do you have on SmackDown? But yeah, like the YS6, like I don't like the YS6, but it's like you just had them in the storyline with the MFTs and everything's just dropped. They're just boom, gone, vanished. It's like they had such a dope debut and now they're just gone. Like we're not gonna hear from them again. It's like, yeah, like some of these like people are super diehard about these people, especially Kyrie Sane, which is kind of funny. It's not, especially. I mean, for Kyrie Sane, it makes sense because people started feeling sympathy for her and the storyline. So it's like so many people are getting behind Kyrie Sane, but it won't even matter because he's not an R Truth type of person. It's like R Truth, they they're still making money off of our truth. So the comedy stuff, merch or whatever, he's still selling. Then you got him, Priest, and Rhea. So you got the Judgment Day essentially. So they still can make profit off of our truth. They don't see profit in some of these people. It's like if they really want to bring you back, they gonna have you do some BS like our truth is doing, still doing the silly, goofy stuff, and it's either it works or it doesn't. But yeah, Kyrie saying like I don't wish like I'm pissed that she got released because it don't make sense to me. Same thing for Zoe Stark. I don't understand her release. People are gonna say, "Well, Zoe Stark, well, she's injured. That's why she got released." That's not true. Because if that was the case, JD McDonough would have been released when he was injured. Because when you look at JD McDonough and Zoe Stark on the main roster, they haven't really done anything. Like Zoe Stark, she got the rub from Trish. Like They never had the payoff match, but she was teaming with Trish and helping her. And then JD, he was only a tag team champion who never defended the title. So when you look at, so why didn't JD McDonough get released when he was injured? So you can't use that injury excuse. That don't make sense to me. No, she's injured, so she got released. There's plenty of other people who were injured and didn't get released. So that's not a valid excuse. It's if they see money in you, they will keep you. Like, or they just. It also just depends because it's uh, like Apollo Cruz. They don't see money in him anymore. They're not using him. Johnny Gargano, he's getting buried. They're keeping him to bury him and his wife Candice LeRae. It's like, oh, now we're gonna put him on NXT for no reason. Have a match with Miles Bourne, even though a guy with real heel heat like Jackson Drake could use that match. But no, let's give it Gargano instead. Have him lose to an NXT mid Carter, send him back to the main roster and be sleeping during matches. They're having him job out. Y'all used the term jobbing so wrong. What Johnny Gargano is doing, that's a jobbing. That's why he's still there. And some people won't accept that. Maybe Apollo Crews got tired of being in catering and they didn't want to keep him anymore. But that's how I see it. I agree with Evan on this hot take. This is a really good hot take. Some people just fail to accept it, but sometimes our favorites will get released. Like I said, I'm pissed that Kyrie Sane got released because it didn't make sense to me. The Motor City Machine Guns, I'm not necessarily pissed, but it's also kind of egregious that SmackDown's tag division is ass and you release one of your few tag teams. So it's like he has a point. Like no matter who gets released, somebody's favorite is gonna be released. That's just a sad reality of things, and people have to accept that. Even us as fans, even me as analysts, like it's just something I have to accept. Like Kyrie saying, she's gone. She's back in Japan, so if she goes to Stardom or whatever. Hey, shout out to her. I'm gonna follow Kyrie saying and keep up with what she's doing. But anyways, and since we're still on the topic of WWE, let's talk about Raw. Most most confusing, most inconsistent weekly TV show, weekly wrestling TV show. Um, yeah, this is just bad. Uh, I thought some of the stuff already covered in my shorts. I got the Roman Reigns. No, I didn't talk about the Roman and Uso segment yet. The way they started the show, I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that. I thought that was a great way to get the show started. Like they just let Roman straight up know, hey, Jacob Fatu is dangerous. Like this is some. Are you sure you want to deal with this or whatever? So I did like that. That was cool to me. Io and Becky. That promo about Becky was dope, and her and Io having the match was cool. I like that. Then the Obafemi Open Challenge. I don't like that. Why is Obafemi just beat Brock Lesnar? Now he's doing an open challenge. So really don't get what sense that makes. That's very confusing to me. But yeah, Obafemi's doing the open challenge just because. Then he ended up taking on Grayson Waller. But okay. But like I said, and the 5-2 thing at the end of the show, I already talked about. But Roman and the Usos, them starting off the show was great. I thought they did a great job with that segment. That was cool about the Usos and Roman. I like how the show started. I was like, we're off to a hot start. And then Braun Breaker and Seth, they got into it. They cut a promo. It was some cold lines by both of them. And so I'm gonna get my notebook to quote some of the lines they said because it was Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker both did their thing here because I thought it was really good from start to finish. I'm trying to find it. Oh, Seth hit Brown. He told Brown Breaker, "You took me out and gained nothing." And I was like, "Damn, that is true." Because he took out Seth, he didn't even get the world title. He still had to fight for it, and he still lost to CM Punk. So I was like, "Yeah, he already cooking." So that's a good start to this. And then Braun, he told Seth, he was like, "You're best at being second best." Brunson Reed was like, "Me and Brunson Reed did everything for you and got nothing in return. Like we were your lackeys. We were just doing everything you told us to do, but we didn't get nothing. We didn't gain anything by being with you." It was like I gained more out of being with Paul Heyman instead of teaming with you. And Steph was like, when Shawn Michaels called me, he wanted me to take on the best, and I decided to take on you, and I wanted to take you under my wing. So, and then Seth had called him Little Steiner or something like that. But I thought that was a really good exchange by them. And they made the match official for Backlash because they both had some really solid points. That was a great promo. Um, Probably one of my favorite segments of the year so far. So I thought that was a great job that they did there. So I really like that. Then you had Judgment Day attack Stephanie backstage. That's like that's cool. Um, they still have if Stephanie didn't attack Liv last week, she just came up to her and pressed her because she wants her title back. But it's like you're the champion, you should make her want to chase you because Stephanie didn't attack you last week. Now the Judgment Day has the numbers game, and they're just attacking her just because. It's like I get to their heels, but Stephanie ain't really do anything crazy. She just wants a rematch, which champion should have rematch clauses. Like Jade should be getting the rematch versus Rhea soon. Like even if she loses, I like the idea of a rematch clause. Like AEW, TNA, even NXT, they do it. The former champion gets a rematch. It needs to be the same thing on the main roster. Bring back rematch clauses. It's that simple. But yeah, the whole attack, it was whatever. I don't think it really made sense because it's like she ain't say nothing to y'all. And so she ain't even do nothing crazy. And it's like you already beat her in the match. So and then they promoted Sol Ruka. She's officially signing to Raw next week. But it's like you already announced she was on Raw last week, so now you're making like so who's gonna interrupt her now? Because she needs to be going after somebody. Like she's a new call up. It shouldn't be somebody coming after her. She should be going after somebody. Like maybe her and Becky Lynch have a story, or that'll be. I don't want Sol to lose her first shot at a title, but that's just an example of something. Like her and Avi now, for example, like her and Avi now could do have a program for just because. But yeah, Sol Ruka, hopefully she gets something to do. I don't think Becky or Liv interrupt her because like they don't have a reason to. I mean, maybe Becky could because she said she wants something new and fresh. Maybe Becky, Asuka, EO triple threat. Since Asuka cost EO the IC title, maybe that happens at Clash in Paris after Backlash. We'll see. Penta defeated Rusev via roll up in the match that they had. That match was cool though. Penta and Rusev, they both got some solid offense in. Rusev had some cool fall away slams. I like what I was seeing from Rusev. Ethan Page being ringside was nice. I kind of wish he was on commentary so we could hear his thoughts on the match because they asked him who he was rooting for. He said Rusev, but we don't really know why. Like, yeah, they're both heels, but if he beats Penta, then he's next in line. So I wish Ethan Page would have been on commentary so we could see how he really feels. And then you had Ethan and Rusev attack Penta post match, and then you had Javon Evans come out there provide some help. It was like Rusev didn't want Ethan's help at first, then the tables turned. Now Ethan Page helping him when he didn't have to. So it's like he just declined your help the first time, then you offer it another time. But why? Why he got to offer help another time? That don't really make sense. But yeah, that was um, that was whatever. It's like they're doing a good job building the mid card, but there's different ways they can do this. Like it's fine, but I feel like this could be a little better with how they're building it. But this is probably one of the best parts overall. Like I don't necessarily have a problem with it. It was just I do wish uh, Ethan was on commentary, and I do like Penta getting the win. So it's still but it don't need to be a fatal four way though. Like it could be a one on one match. It might be a four way, but if you have Penta lose in a four way, why not just have him lose at WrestleMania? That's then the issue there. You had fake El Grande call out Rey Mysterio talking about how he wants a match against one of the best of the best, one of the greatest luchadors of all time, Rey Mysterio. Uh, Ray accepted at some point in the show. It just said it on the bottom of the screen. Never showed us Ray accepting the challenge. Then the real El Grande talked to Ray Mysterio, and then the real El Grande, which we know as Gable, he didn't understand a lick of Spanish. And then the fake El Grande came in there to talk some sense. So I tried to talk down Ray. It was like, oh goodness. Then Rey Mysterio and El Grande, Kaiser, they had a match. It was a cool match. Bravo and Bravo tried to get involved. The real El Grande got involved. Rey Mysterio ended up winning. A lot of outside distractions and interference, and it's like it's whatever. But it's like it feels like every match. This is what we see: outside factors, outside interference. Like that was essentially every match except for the Oba one tonight, and maybe the that might have been it. Like Oba, that was Penta Rusev, Ethan Page got involved, Becky, EO, Oscar got involved. That's two matches right there. Kaiser, Ray, uh, multiple people got involved in the main event match. Bailey, Lyra versus Judgment Day, Liv got involved. So 4 to 5 matches had people get involved. Oben and Waller was a squash match, so it didn't even matter. Had Byron Saxton talking to the Usos. There was whatever. Then LA Knight had something to say, and I'm like, wasn't LA Knight and Gunther just building the story last week? So now we just go away from that. Gunther not on TV. Gunther not acknowledging how LA Knight interrupted his promo or whatever last week. And so we just skipping past that and just ignoring like that. Like that don't make sense to me. Like how are we just skipping past that? Like that's an important deep. Like that's important, and we're just skipping past that fact. So going through LA Knight could have been a really good one on, and it still can be a really good one-on-one feud. But how do we just go from LA Knight and Gunther last week to this week? Oh, LA Knight's back talking to the Usos. Like what? That's what I'm saying. It's confusing. It's inconsistent. Joe Hendry's concert was comical. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. But what I don't get is why is he calling out a tag team? You're calling out the Vision because when Logan Paul comes off of Austin Theory, so you're talking trash about them. But it's like, so now you have attention to you. It's like I know he was gonna call out some heel, but it would have made more sense if Logan wasn't a tag champ, assuming that Brunson Reed was here. And the Street Profits came out there to help him after they started beating on him. So then it's a 3-on-2 advantage, and we know the Profits aiming for the tag titles. So I don't think it's crazy to assume Brunson Reed is close to being healthy because there's no reason for him to do that. And then the Profits, there was like, they got into it with Seth, and they was like, "It's not about you. This is about the titles." But eventually, it's gonna have to be a 4-on-4 because Braun Breaker is still there. Then Reed is gonna be coming back soon, so you get a 4v4 right there. It's instant. That's a good fatal 4-way for like SummerSlam or something. I don't know if they stretch it that long, but before SummerSlam, that could be a 4-on-4 you could have. So that's confusing to me. Unless Brunson Reed is guaranteed to come back, it's like why is Joe Hendry calling out a tag team essentially? Because calling out Theory, he's not Theory, but Logan, he's still part of a tag team. So Finn Balor told Roxanne not to trust the Judgment Day. That was cool, and it was after Roxanne and Liv had just talked, and then Finn came back there and told her, he was like, hey, don't say nothing. He was like, don't trust them. Then Roxanne, she was like, don't trust them or don't trust you. So she still kind of conflicted because when she was gone, they took out Finn. Then she came back, and Finn was no more. He wasn't there anymore. So, and then you got the Judgment Day taking on Bailey and Lyra for the 70th time. I'm pretty sure they're split down the middle with wins against each other. Like they wrestle so fucking much. Like it feels like every week it's Bailey and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel, or Liv and Roxanne, or Roxanne and Raquel. Like, oh my goodness, is there no other women's tag teams for these two to face? Like, you know what? You want to stress the story of the split? Fine. Stress. I'm not mad at that because I think doing the split instantly would have made it a bit weird because I think Liv should get at least a little bit up a run. They don't got to be something super crazy, but I do think she should get a little run with the title before Raquel splits. So keep telling that story and feeding into that. Don't do the split instantly. That's fine. But you have the Bella Twins, you have Charlotte and Alexa, you have Nia and Lash, you have Fatal Influence. If all they do is wrestle each, oh my, they're only wrestle each other. You could put Avinal and Maxine together randomly for all I care. But the Judgment Day versus Bailey and Lyra always happens. It's a guarantee to happen twice a month. We're gonna see it again. It's the end of April. I guarantee you they're gonna be wrestling again in 2 weeks. It's gonna be a 3-on-3. Stephanie Vaughn added to the equation. Bailey and Lyra versus Judgment Day again, just with Stephanie added this time. Can we stop doing this match? The feud has ran its course. Like, why do we keep doing this? And this is why I say Raw is so inconsistent because every week my rating is so up and down with the show. Like, I get this week a 5 out of 10. It wasn't ass. That's not. And then if you see my shorts, you will see why I feel this way because I made shorts as well. But it wasn't ass, but it's like it's not great either. Like Raw should be better than this. I give it a 5 out of 10. It's just simply too inconsistent. Like we're going away from stories 1 week later. LA Knight and Gunther dropped after 1 week. Jacob Fatu randomly on Raw. So cool, but we couldn't announce any trade. And Kyrie Sane just released, and you're still continuing Asuka and Io. Okay. Joe Hendry concert, cool, but he's calling out Logan Paul, a tag team guy. Okay. But yeah, Raw, it gets a 5 out of 10. This show was inconsistent. Pretty much what I said explains how I feel about this entire show. Um, yeah, the best part, the IC title stuff with the men, they're doing their thing. Actually, like how it's being built. This is actually a solid way to build a fatal four way. But my only problem is if Penta loses in a fatal four way, he could have just lost at WrestleMania in a ladder match. That would be my only issue if he does lose in a fatal four way. But I think I wasted enough energy talking about how inconsistent and how mid Raw is. And that was 20 minutes on wrestling through the hot take and through this after the Raw recap. So I hope y'all enjoyed it because I usually don't spend that much time talking about wrestling unless it's something special, unless it's like WrestleMania or if it's predictions for like AEW, TNA. But moving on to the injury report, um, let's stick with, uh, matter of fact, with the injury report. And I'm gonna give y'all a few extra minutes of wrestling talk. It's not going to be super long, but it's just a couple of extra minutes. Starting with the injury report, since it's mainly NBA guys, I'm going to just start with uh, I got two for the WWE and one for the MLB. Then the rest is just NBA because I do 10 per week. So uh, Bianca Belair, I know she's not injured, but I'm putting her on here because when I seen Bianca at WrestleMania, I was thinking, well, actually, I seen her on Instagram and I was like, she didn't just get pregnant. She's been pregnant for a minute. So she could be back. She'll probably be back by the Royal Rumble. Because it seems like she's gonna be having that baby soon. If you look at her belly, you can tell she's been pregnant for a minute. So while she was out with the finger injury, still recovering from that, that's when her and Montez did their thing, I'm assuming. So I don't think it's gonna be I don't think the wait gonna be as long as people think. I think she could come back by next year, like Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber. But I definitely see her having a match at WrestleMania. So yeah, she's been pregnant, but like I said, she's been pregnant for a minute. So, like you look at her belly, you can tell it's been like, yeah, she's been pregnant for a while. And then Chelsea Green, she's still out with the ankle injury. I don't know when she's supposed to be coming back. As we've seen, Jordan Grace came back recently, had a great match with Tiffany a week or two ago. But Chelsea Green, she's out with an ankle injury currently. I don't know when she'll be back. But no matter what people say about Chelsea Green, she is entertaining. So I don't know. Her ceiling, I don't think it's super high in WWE just based off of how they see her, but she's a very talented worker, and it does suck seeing her out because she definitely adds to that women's division. Can't tell me she doesn't. So hopefully Chelsea Green, she'll be fine soon to be back in the mid card or maybe even in the main event since Rhea is champion now. You could do Rhea and Chelsea. Someone Chelsea is still going to be a heel when she comes back. So like I said, Jade needs to get a rematch. Then Rhea can retain and do a few other people. Maybe a Chelsea Green maybe even Chelsea Green could beat her. Maybe a Chelsea Green wins some money in the bank or put in the ring or something like that. Who knows? For the MLB, Lars Nootbaar, left fielder for the Cardinals, he's out for 2 months. He injured his heel, so we're definitely gonna miss him. I think we won our game last night. I gotta go back and watch the highlights because I didn't see it. I meant to watch it, but yeah, I got caught up with the NBA and NHL playoffs and then forgot to put it on. So I'm pretty sure we won, but our left fielder, Lars Nootbaar, is out for the next 2 months, which is going to suck for us, especially with how deep the NL, not deep, well, yeah, how deep and how great the NL Central has been this year. It's been a bloodbath there. So we'll see what happens with that. Um, Now for the NBA, like I said, there's a lot of injuries within the NBA. Emmanuel quickly has been ruled out for the rest of the first round with a hamstring injury. I thought he'd just be out a couple of games, but it's lingered on from the last weekend of the season, even into the playoffs, and the hamstrings are very tricky, and Emmanuel quickly remains out. So that just sucks for the Raptors. Like they're tied 2-2 with the Cavs, and it's still possible that they can win that series even without Emmanuel quickly, but he spaces their floor better for them. He's a solid playmaker, so they're still missing something. Even if they beat the Cavs, it's like having Emmanuel quickly is still you're still missing something not having him. So I'm not don't want to sit up here and try to devalue um, Emmanuel quickly and what he brings to that team. So the Raptors they still can't win without him. It is possible. but I definitely think missing him is significant in this in the playoffs in general, especially if they get out the first round and they take on the Magic, which is a possibility, which is crazy to say, or the Pistons. It's like, man. But I did have the Magic as the first seed. I had them finishing as a top three seed in the East. They didn't do that, but they knew that was due to injuries, inconsistent coaching, Apollo not taking that leap offensively, and now they're playing like the team they should have been playing like all season, ironically, and it's coming at the expense of the 60-win Pistons. So Joel Embiid, they're saying he's probable for Game Five. I think he'll play. He returned to Game Four, and I know he's probably fatigued. He's probably tired. Uh, Never gonna question Embiid's work ethic because he still decided to play. He could have sat out the entire first round just to be fully healthy for next season or next round if they somehow won it without him. But he's still aiming to play. I think he will play. They say it's probable, but I don't think. I just think Embiid cares so much that he don't want to miss a game. But if he has to, I'm not mad at him. It's like you're a big man with injury issues over the years. Like if it's something else you need to get done, get it done, and I won't be mad at it. Like if he missed a game, I'm not mad at that. Franz Wagner, he suffered a calf injury in Game Four as the Magic went up 3-1 on the Pistons. I don't know how significant it's gonna be. I don't know if it's just a strain or if it was just calf tightness and it's not nothing too serious. But having a Franz was playing well. He had 19 points and 4 steals in 24 minutes. The Magic still won without him during those because he would have played the same amount of time as Paulo if he was still there. But so it's definitely a closer game. But it probably would have been a blowout or a double digit game if he stayed in. But without Franz, that might swing the series depending on how long he's out. So we'll see. Austin Reeves, they're saying it's a possibility he could return Game Five for the Lakers tomorrow. Still unsure. It was rumored he could have came back Game Four, but they decided to sit him out. But he's been out with an oblique injury, with a left oblique. So hopefully he's fully healthy. With the series being extended, that gives Luka more time to rest as well. So maybe since the series is going to five, Reeves will have a chance to play. It, Hopefully, if he does, he comes off the bench with him. We don't need to insert him right into the starting lineup. Kevin, sticking with that series, Kevin Durant, he's out with a knee injury. I think he's questionable for Game Five as well. He's only played one of the 4 games so far. He bumped knees with somebody in practice, and he's missed 3 of the 4 games. Only played in one of them. He tried to play in Game Two. Well, he tried to play in Game One, but warm ups didn't go well, so he set out that game. Game Two, he was able to suit up. He was okay, nothing special. I think he had a lot of turnovers that game, but he just wasn't just didn't look like Kevin Durant out there, and he missed the last 2 games. So I know he'll probably push to play Game Five, but if he can't go, then he just can't go, and it is what it is. But I know he's gonna try to push to play that Game Five because it could be the Rockets' last game. Anthony Edwards, it's been announced that he's out for multiple weeks with a knee injury, from hyperextension on the knee, so he's gonna be out for some time. If the Timberwolves can get out this series and win in 6, then and will still have a chance to play at some point. But if they blow the 3-1 lead, it's like they're missing him and DiVincenzo, who's out for the season with a torn right Achilles. So if the Timberwolves blow this lead, it's like it's not even nothing they can really do. It's like you're missing 2 key players. You're missing 2 starters at that, and one who's a superstar in this league, or so in Anthony Edwards, who's going to be an MVP candidate for years to come. So missing him and missing Dante, 2 guys that are such an intricate part to your team's success. It's like you blow a 3-1 lead. It's like people can't even clown you for it because it's like you're missing a superstar and one of the key role players. Then for the Nuggets, I know Aaron Gordon, he's out, but him and Peyton Watson being out don't match the production of Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo. Gordon stayed today with a calf injury, which he's pretty much dealt with all season. So I don't know if he's gonna need surgery or what in the off season, but he got to get something done, get it done, because that calf been bothering him all season. Like he was out earlier in the season, if I'm not mistaken. What I could be wrong, but I know he was injured in one. I know he was injured. I forget what the injury was, but if it was that calf, then that got to be checked out. So yeah, he's been injured all throughout the season, honestly. So Aaron Gordon, we'll see. But those are the most significant injuries. That wraps up the injury report. Prayers up to everybody who is injured, and once again, congrats to Bianca on being pregnant. I only put her on here because I feel like she's far more along than a lot of people think that she is. So now moving on to the final segment for today. Are we buying this? Can the Penguins pull off a 3-0 comeback? Hmm. Ironically, I think um, in hockey it's been done before, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I've got to look that up because I think it was yeah, so four teams that came back from 3-0 deficits in NHL playoff history. So that's, but the last time it happened was 2014. Um, I was trying to see who, yeah, it was a few others that ended up coming back from 3-0. They didn't win the series, but they were able to tie it. But the teams that won, that had successful 3-0 comebacks, the Maple Leafs in the 1942 Stanley Cup, the New York Islanders in the 1975 quarterfinals, um, the Philadelphia Flyers in the 2010 Eastern Conference semifinals, and the Los Angeles Kings in the 2014 Western Conference first round. Those are the only four teams to come back from down 0-3. Then a few teams who came back recently from that. Those teams came back from 0-3 and won the series. A few teams who came back from down 0-3 to tie the series but lose in seven. Most recently was the Oilers taking on the Kings in the 2024 Stanley Cup. And they ended up tying the series. They were down 3-0 but lost game seven. Then the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals, both in 1987 and in 1987 Stanley Cup playoffs. Both of those teams were down 3-0 and ended up coming back to tie the series and force a game seven, but they ended up losing. So we have seen teams in the NHL come back from down 3-0 and tie the series but lose it in seven. But we've also seen the four teams come back and successfully complete the 3-0 comeback. So will it be a case of that with this series between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers? I think it's hard to tell because when you look at the actually for Game Five, I'm talking about Game Five first because the Penguins. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Game Five first and talk about the other ones. They came out the gates hot in this game. Pittsburgh, they scored first. Elmer, he had an early goal in the game that put Pittsburgh ahead 1-0. And then throughout the game, they just played, throughout that first period, they just played really well. Wasn't giving up any easy shots on goal. And then they end up holding that 1-0 lead to end the first period. And then they scored again. It was Dower, I think, who, uh, Connor Deer, Deward? I think I'm saying that wrong, but Connor D. Yeah, I'm just say that he scored their second goal, Pittsburgh's second goal, and then ended up giving them a 2-0 lead, and then Bump quickly responded to that for Philadelphia, making it a 1-2 game. And then following that, they both scored goals in that second period. Well, they both scored two goals in that second period, but it was 2-1 because after they traded those goals real quickly, they both scored again in that second period, and it was 3-2 heading into the third period. But it was no goals given up. Nobody scored in that third period. The Penguins ended up winning 3-2. Um, yeah, it was. Yeah, neither goalkeeper played all 60 minutes, but I think with Silvos, he was at 59-48, so I don't know what happened there. But I know Dan Vladder was benched for the last minute and 58 seconds because they needed an extra man on ice. But for the Flyers, player of the game goes to Noah Canes. He had one assist in 15 minutes and 29 seconds on ice. Also won 13 faceoffs, only lost five of them, had 72.2 faceoff percentage. And then for the Penguins, their player of the game was Sidney Crosby. He had two assists in 20 minutes and 13 seconds on ice. I had 12 face-off wins, 8 face-off losses, which was a 60 face-off percentage. So Game 5, I kind of talked about it in the post. Well, I ain't even talked about Game 5 really, so that's my first time breaking down Game 5. Because in the post, I kind of just talked about the series when I made the post about it. So it's like, yeah, that pretty much sums up Game 5 and how the Penguins were able to win that. and tie it. But that last game, it was like that. Like I mentioned in my post, the last game was so great because they scored goals in every period, and that's how they were finally able to get a win. And then it was like you're thinking maybe the Flyers will get it done the next game, but no, now it's 3-2. And then when you look at all like this, and there's been hella games that went to overtime in the playoffs in general. This series hasn't went to overtime yet. It's yet to be an overtime game in this series. That first game, the Flyers won. It was a close game. It was super close. Then the Flyers they scored 2 goals in that third period, so they broke away a bit later and ended up winning. And that's how they took a 1-0 series lead on the road. So you're thinking, with the way that the Penguins played, it would be a close series throughout. And then the Flyers going to dominate that game three, scoring three, not game three, game two. They dominated game two and three, but game two they shut them out 3-0. Uh, Hathaway had 1 goal and 1 assist. Um, he had a great game, and then it's like the Penguins get shut out at home, so it's like you're thinking, oh yeah, maybe the Flyers are winning. It's like I did think the Flyers would win again based off how they had been dominating. Then they dominate again. They ended up winning 5-3. Pittsburgh scored first in this game, just like they did in the previous ones, but they scored first in this game 3, and then Philadelphia they didn't let their foot off the gas. They went on a 5-1 run to close the game, ended up winning 5-2. Uh, uh, Trevor Sergas he had 1 goal and 1 assist, and this Flyers team was just dominating. Like I said, winning back-to-back games by 3 points. Had multiple guys with 2 assists. Had like 3 guys with 2 assists in that game. So now they're up 3-0, and none of the games went to overtime. They controlled each game. And then, like I said, things flipped in game four once they were able to score in every period and ended up winning that game 4-2. So that's really when things flipped. The Penguins, the Penguins were able to flip a switch in games 4 and 5 and stay in it. And to say it's not crazy to say that they can tie it because I just think with the momentum they're playing and how they're playing, it's like I do think the Penguins can win it and send it to a game 7 going back home. Because when you look at the last 2 games, like I said, Artis Silvos, he's only given up 2 goals in each game, and had a 9 in the last 2 games and had a 90+ save percentage in both of them. So like he keeps playing like this, and they keep the pressure on offensively, keep doing their thing. It's not out the realm of possibility for them to come back. Now, do I think they pull off? Now, is it possible they can pull it off? Yes. Do I think they will pull it off? No. I think I think Philadelphia got a little relaxed being ahead 3-0 and thought they could take care of business. And the last game, like I said, this game was close. It was just the first period. It's really what cost them this game. They only had one. They gave up that 1 goal in the first period. I think the Flyers get it done at home. I don't see it going 7. I do think it's just been a really impressive. And if the Penguins did push it to 7, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think Philadelphia gets it done. I think them being at home, them having more wins throughout the season, I just think they've been good at home. They've been solid at home. I think they can get it done. So I just like this Philadelphia team. If Alex Bump can step up again, and like I said, Noah Kane, so we can have another great game. I see this team winning. I see them winning the game 6. This has been an entertaining series, especially with the aspect of being down 3-0 and forcing a game 6. So you got to give credit to the Pittsburgh Penguins for staying in it. Now I do want to see it go 7 because I love 7 game series. So if they can stretch it that far, I wouldn't be mad at it. But also don't have a favorite NHL team because I just been watching 3 years. If I do pick somebody, I'm not gonna pick anybody that's in the playoffs. So I don't. It's either gonna be based off of color or team logo, which might might be a bad idea. But yeah, I think I think the Flyers get it done in Game 6. I think they win Game 6 and advance to the second round. But like I said, nothing is a guarantee. So we will see what happens. But with that being said, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts.